never talk in the morning, like very much, because it's just not my time to shine. And I was up until like 1:30 playing stupid games with my friends. And I mean stupid, and we'll get into that in a minute because it all ties in. So if it's a little rusty, it's because, good morning. All right, so I need to just talk about how when we are authentic, life is so much easier. When we're ourselves, life is so much easier. You know how they say it's harder to lie than to tell the truth because you got to figure out how to position that lie and make everything fit into that lie and all the things. It's the exact same thing with just being who you are. And that just means being honest all of the time, like being real, just letting yourself be the chaotic person you are, even though you are a trained meditation teacher. Letting yourself be the type B person, even though you run a business. Letting yourself be the super weird sense of humor kind of girl that you are, even though people expect you to be like poised or whatever you think it is. I'm looking at these two cute little birds just like peeping around on my little, oh, sometimes they fly into my window. Okay, we're good. But yeah, just being yourself is so much easier because there's not a facade. There's nothing you have to uphold. Like I remember when I was in my people-pleasing era and I was just fawning and afraid to show up as I really am, I would always, I was exhausted socially all the time. And I would go really, I would isolate quite often because I felt like I needed to be entertaining, be engaged, be empathetic, be gentle and compassionate, help everyone with their problems, make sure that they really liked me, make sure that I was grounded and nice and helpful, and all of those things were conditioned. Like I thought that was the way that I got love as a kid, and therefore I thought that's how I was gonna keep getting love. And I did it for so many years, and I thought really that I was like a hardcore introvert and I didn't really like people very much. And it's so funny because now, like I'm still on the brink of INFJ, ENFJ, but whatever. The point is, I love my people. I love being with people. And I even thought today, because I'm about to have such a busy day, which is completely on brand with what I'll talk about in a second, but I'm about to have this super busy day and I was really worried, like, oh God, I'm just exhausted because I've been, this is what I do, but because everyone's sick of this. I've been doing so much all at once, and I just love trying to get the most out of life, and there's a beautiful side of that, and then there's also like the FOMO urgency side, which is it's okay to miss out. You're never really missing out. There's abundance of things. There really is an abundance of things. That's the problem. Just kidding. Okay, but you know what I'm saying. So as far as today goes, I am gonna pack in my schedule with my social media marketing team member, and we are gonna go try to cram as much as we can on the North Shore of this island in like, I don't even know, 5 hours. We're gonna try to cram as much as we can, which is what we already do anyways, basically, and we both are like this, so it's so funny. Like we always are calling each other or messaging each other being like, I have this, and then I was here, and then I'll see videos of her and I'm like, how were you there and there and there, and I was also here, and she's like, well, you were all like, we both cover so much ground in one day, and it's hilarious because sometimes we'll go to a place and they were like, oh, she was just here, and so we decided to team up and just do it, and then do kind of like a fun guide to the North Shore. How fun. So we're gonna create that together, and if you don't know, I work on Maui Makai, which is a digital magazine, and I founded it about a year ago, and it's your local's guide to Maui, where it tells you all of the fun things that we do as people who live here, and it's for kind of the young crowd too. I mean, it's for anyone, but this island gets such a reputation for being for like the retirees, and that's awesome too, but we just wanted to make sure that people know like it's lit for all ages. So yeah, her and I are gonna go do that today, and I think before I would have just felt like I needed to be really professional and I needed to make this business seem very, presentable, and I realized that takes the soul out of it. Like the soul of it is that 2 of the girls who work on it and run it are seriously the most chaotic, fun-loving, adventurous girls ever. And so we're gonna just make that true to us, and we're gonna go out and do it. And this morning when I was saying I was so tired, I was thinking, gosh, I really don't know if I have the energy to go film and do all these things today. And like the last thing I want to do is cram a million things, because then after that I have a birthday party, then after that I have a dance party, and then are you serious? And I'm working super hard on this course that I'm building right now. So holy shit. But then I really thought, yes, rest is still important even when you're being fully authentic. And it feels so much easier because I just set the intention to be my truest self today. I set the intention to follow joy. I set the intention to play. And when we do that, life just flows. It doesn't drain our energy. It can actually generate more. We'll see how I feel at the end of the day. But that is generally true. I mean, you can't deplete yourself. You can't run yourself ragged, even in authentic joy. But it's really just changed my life. Like, that has been the ultimate energizer. The ultimate energizer is authenticity. I used to pray at night for energy. It's really interesting. And I actually was, when I grew up, I was really depleted, and I did find out I was a little iron deficient. My mom blamed it on me sneaking out all the time, which is true. And by the way, I would just go on walks. I never did anything messed up at all. Literally, like, I mean, I would climb trees, go on walks, hide from cars, look at the stars, play video games with my friend, go home. But yeah, anyways, when I would sneak out, she was like, well, you've been up all night and these are the reasons why you're tired, and blah, 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 blah. And now I'm thinking, like, I think I was tired because I was really trying to fit a role for my family. I was trying to keep up with like all the shenanigans because there wasn't a lot of adaptation in my house. Actually, there was 0% adaptation. It was like, this is the way, and if you guys can't fit in, like, you're in trouble. And a lot of high emotions and a lot of high energy and a lot of big pressures, and yeah. And then when you're young and a teen, and if that's already the conditioning you have, and then you move into like middle school and high school, and dude, the stress and pressure I put on myself was so outrageous, just to be a certain way and act a certain way and look a certain way and be liked and be cute, and it was just so exhausting. And now everything I'm doing, it just feels like a fun expression of me, and that's so much better. And so yeah, this energy I wanted my whole life, which I know I'm an energetic person, but I used to just feel like I was really dragging through life and it was hard, and I just don't feel that way anymore. And I've always had my survival needs met and beyond, and so those things aren't what changed. It's how I showed up as me. Yeah, that's really key here. It's just how I showed up as me. That is the main difference and the main shift I have made in my life. So when I say about following your joy or listening to your soul, and I think of them as synonymous, you're actually healing so much. You're replenishing your energy. You're attracting like-minded and aligned tribe. You're ending up in the places that are right for you. You're magnetic because you're having fun and you're joyful, and people want to be around that. And I can tell you that because my friends are those people. I love the people that are in love with their lives. Like, the energy that they radiate is, I'm in love with my life. And it makes me fall in love with them, you know? Speaking of my beautiful friends, last night I had this group over here, and it was very impromptu. I was busy all day with work, and I did not have a minute to like plan or make this house very cute. And I had a friend, I said, can you please just like invite the people and like just show up? And she was like, perfect. So she was the best. And they all came over here. I didn't have enough space for anyone. And so we moved the dining table into the living room and rearranged everything and just made shift everything. And it was so fun and cozy and silly and rambunctious and chaotic. And we like flipped this place upside down and we played all these games. And then by the end of the night, we all started talking about random things that we used to do as kids. And I told the group that I used to play this game with my friend called Fat Spies. Okay, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's not too late to turn around. I don't know. Yeah, my friend and I were probably like maybe 8 or 9, and we would take all these like pillows and shove them into our shirts and into our pants or whatever. And we would sit in her closet in the dark and just sit there until something happened. And usually nothing happened. We would just sit in her closet. And I don't know what that was. But we would literally be like, hey, like, you want to play Fat Spies? Can you imagine? I would call her, because she was my neighbor. I would call her family home phone landline. Ring, ring, and her dad would answer the phone like, bueno, because we were in Mexico. And I'd be like, can I talk to your daughter? And he'd be like, yeah, sure. And I'd be like, do you want to come over and play Fat Spies? What? Actually, we usually would play it at her house. So yeah, I'd be like, can I come over? Can we play Fat Spies? What? So we were all just dying laughing at all the things that we used to do, and like how weird kids are, and like making potions out of mud in the backyard, and all of the different things that kids do, and playing pranks and having so much fun. And it just turned into such a weird night. We all started doing improv. Like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't do improv, okay? I had a theater kid moment, but it wasn't, and it was, none of them do improv either. It was so random, and we just decided to do it, and all of a sudden I'm like delivering a baby out of a fake truck out of this girl, and the baby that was born is my friend, and she's the baby boy. And I don't know how else to explain it, but that's my tribe. Like, those are my people. Like, those are my people. And you know, they wouldn't be weird if I wasn't weird. And I wouldn't be weird if they weren't weird. Like, we weren't, well, no, that's not true. We would all be weird, but we wouldn't find each other if we weren't showing our weird. Like, what if we didn't, you know, you gotta be you, so that people can find you. And I remember I used to kind of like complain that everyone was like boring, and they were like this way, and like I was weird, or like I had my interest and sense of humor was different, and I was like, wah. And like, it was because I wasn't being myself. I wasn't being weird. I wasn't letting my full, true sense of humor come through. So how the hell am I gonna end up in the right crowds? And then maybe those people are just like, oh, she's kind of like dry and uptight, so I'm not gonna be weird. She's probably not gonna get it, which is also still kind of a form of contortion, but it's also a form of like emotional attunement. But also still, like, the people who are just them consistently, love that. Still working on that, but getting really, I'm really proud of where I am. So that's really cool to come on here and talk about. And I just share it because I don't want to come on here and feel like I'm like, seem like I'm bragging or something. Like, I have the best friends in the world and I'm happy and things are all just so good for me. I struggled all of my life. It was such a struggle to be me. It was so hard. It was so uncomfortable. I felt so scared to be seen. I felt so uncomfortable in my own skin. I literally hated the sound of my own breathing. Like, so if you are in that position, I really understand. I really understand more than you could ever know. I really hated every inch of myself, which is just so sad. And my reality mirrored that. And I want you to know that there's a million ways out. And it's just starting with positive affirmations was for me. I know a lot of people like shit talk that because it's not like fully embodied, but when you are so far from your body, sometimes it's a good place to start. and then learning to be in your body, having some practice that connects you to your body, whether that's yoga or dance or just something that feels good that you can enjoy. This was literally my process. I started to then get into meditation really heavily because I wanted to not just feed good thoughts into my brain that were helping me reprogram them, but actually start to notice what thoughts were in my head and notice my tendencies and my patterns and gently become more disciplined around that. And then after that, I got into the subtle energy realm. I started to understand what this world is made of and how it reflects and mirrors us, how we can work with it. And that was just so powerful. It was like the language I already kind of understood, but I never knew how to actually implement. And that was just powerful. And that was through my Reiki trainings. And my Reiki trainings led me deep into my emotional processes. And I don't know why, but I just remember that when I did my 30-day Reiki self-healing, which is what you have to do to become a Reiki master, I cried every single day, healing different years of my life. And it felt like I was finally going to the places that I was too scared to go. And when I did that, so much shifted for me too. And I did start to feel more authentic, actually. And I started to really know like who I was and what I loved. The only thing that changed then was I moved around and I was in a lot of isolating places. It was COVID, and I was still afraid to publicly share what joy and authenticity meant to me. And I was still contorting a little bit to the partnership that didn't actually serve a lot of my joy. It served a lot of security and safety, but not that really juicy, luscious connection and passion that we all deserve. So that's my story. There's so much I can always talk about on this subject. Being aligned, being connected to you, expressing you, authenticity. But I wanted to come in on here and just share a little bit about where I am today, what it looks like, how it's energized me, and I hope the same for you. I know it can feel scary to start to be you, to start to just laugh at the things you laugh at, say the things you want to say, suggest the activities you want to suggest, all because you're afraid of being rejected or being weird or like not fitting in or whatever. I know, but just start being you and watch how things magnetize. Watch how the people you've always wanted to connect with just come out of the woodwork, or the people that you already love start to express themselves to. It's a contagious energy to be authentic, and it creates a safety for people to be themselves too. So if you want that, you be that. You already are that. I hope you have the most beautiful day. If you like it here, subscribe. Definitely subscribe to my newsletter in the link below in the description, because I have some incredible freebies coming up really soon to help you with this process. So transformative. And I just cannot wait for the world to be so lit the fuck up.